Hello and welcome to another episode of Secrets of a Maths Tutor. My name is Sarah Lynn and today we're going to be diving into order of operations. This is a skill that your child will be introduced to right from Key Stage 1, but in a really slow and targeted way. As they move through their school years, they'll start to see specific skills build, including the introduction of BIDMAS or BODMAS or BEDMAS, depending on what you have been taught. So as always, our Secrets of a Maths Tutor will cover skills needed for Key Stage 2 right through to GCSE, and today is no different. This is a skill set that your child will need to feel confident in to head towards their Maths GCSE. So let's dive in and unpick why we need an order of operations. So as I mentioned, the acronym that we use to help us identify the order is known as BIDMAS. I also mentioned that there is something called BEDMAS as well. So BIDMAS stands for brackets, indices, division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. Now the BEDMAS part is actually what I was taught at school, where instead of using the word indices, we use the word exponent. But I also mentioned that there's another acronym. It was BODMAS. The O in BODMAS stands for other. So it really does depend on what your teacher taught you while you were going through it. But in essence, they all relaying the same kind of information. We start with brackets and we work our way through subtraction. There's a couple of key things that I want to unpick with you, especially about what our students typically make mistakes on. So grab a piece of paper and a pen, write this acronym down, and follow along. We've got a quick example here over on the right side. It says 6 plus 3 times 2. Now, without order of operation, many students will want to work from the left to the right. So they would go 6 plus 3 is 9, 9 times 2, well that is 18, so that must be my answer. But this is incorrect because we don't just move from the left to the right. Instead, what we do is we follow the order of operation. Order of operation, do we have any brackets? No. Indices? No. Division? Not here. Multiplication? Yes. Let's underline the numbers around our multiplication. That's going to tell our brain that we have to do 3 times 2 first, which is 6. And then we can just fill in the information that's around it. 6 adds 6, that leaves us with 12. So the answer here is 12. Now, I mentioned that there are very costly mistakes when it comes to order of operation, and I wasn't over-exaggerating. Starting from the 11 plus or even SATs, students often make mistakes that cost them really important marks. So if we can just tidy up this skill, you can help your child feel confident in ensuring that they understand the order of operation. Now, don't forget, brackets take priority. They are the first thing that you must do. The next part says mixing up division and multiplication order. We're going to dive into this a little bit more, but what I want you to remember is that division and multiplication, even though the D comes before the M in the word BIDMAS, they are completed in the order in which they arrive, which means if I have a division first, and then I have a multiplication, then I'm going to complete the division first. 6 divided by 2, which is 3. 3 times 3, which is 9. However, if I had my multiplication first, and this is what you would see in the actual question, it's not me and my brain making it up unless I'm making up my own problems for myself. If the question had the multiplication first, even though the word BIDMAS has a D before an M, so division before multiplication, we actually do division or multiplication in the order in which they arise, which means we'd actually be doing 2 times 3 first, which is 6, and then dividing that by 6, which gives us 1. So this is where a lot of our students make mistakes. The next one is that they solve addition before multiplication. It might seem like a fluid thing to do, however, division and multiplication arrive before addition and subtraction, so don't be caught by that. And then the last thing is not recognizing indices, exponents, or like I said, the other one was called other. Now indices are the little numbers that kind of float on a big base number. So if I had 8, 2 with a little floating 2, this is my indice. And that indice is telling me that I'm going to multiply 8 by itself. And so that means I'm going to have 2 8s. That's what the 2 stands for. If I had 8 cubed, or to the power of 3, 3 is my new indice. What it means is I'm going 8 times 8. I'm grabbing that answer, and I'm going to multiply that answer by another 8. So now we understand where the top mistakes are. Let's dive into a couple of questions. Let's look at a base question that has all the components. As you can see here, I've written out BEDMAS, so that way there we can make sure that we understand the process. Let's take a moment. What do you think needs to go where the B is? What does the B stand for? Well done. If you remembered it was brackets, you are off to a great start. You'll see how small I can write these. What about the I? What does the I stand for? Indices, right, which is something that we might also call exponents. Now your indices also include your square roots, not just your square numbers. D is for division. Well done. M is for multiplication. Excellent job. A is for addition. You're off to the races, guys. And S is for subtraction. So knowing this, let's go through our example. First things first, do we have any brackets? Yes, so brackets we do have right there and here. So what I'm going to do then is I'm actually going to go through my brackets first. So I'm going to do 8 minus 2. So 8 minus 2 is 6. So I've got that there now. I'm going to fill in the rest of my equation. So I'm just going to have the 6 there, and then we had times 3 squared divided by 6 plus 5. So it's helpful for us to write down each step along the way until we feel uber confident with our ability to track things mentally. So now we're looking for indices. Do we have any indices or exponents? Yes, right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to now solve for those indices. 3 squared. Well, remember, a square number is a number times by itself. So 3 times 3 is 9. So again, I'm going to go through and simply write out the rest of the equation that was already around my new number that I've solved. Moving forward, I'm looking for division or multiplication in the order that they arrive. So I'm looking, do I have any division or multiplication? I've got both. Which one is first? The first one is 6 times 9. So I'm going to answer the question 6 times 9 first. Looking at my hands, all my 10 digits, if I put down the 6th one, that's going to tell me that my answer is 54. So if you didn't know your 9 times table is super duper quick, you can use that as a quick little reminder. Now that we've solved our multiplication, we have to remind ourselves not to keep just moving forward. Go back to the division and make sure you solve that one as well. So we have division in our question. It's right here with the 54 divided by 6, right? You see how it says 9 divided by 6, but this 9 was eaten up by the 6 times 9. So really, we have 54 by 6 plus 5. So our division that we're going to do is 54 divided by 6. Now, how can we figure this out? If I know that 6 goes into 60 10 times, that's my base, then I can work backwards by taking off a 6. And what do you know? That gives me 54. So in this case, I feel confident knowing that 54 divided by 6 is 9. And I'm going to add in what is left, and we keep moving through our equation. So we have addition to finish us off. We are left with 9 add 5. 9 add 5, ladies and gentlemen, is 14. So that is how we would go through an example of BIDMAS. Now, you may not be able to do all of the color coding, but if you're taking a note and seeing this as your main process, I highly recommend going through and color coding it. It's really helpful for you to be able to track where everything is. So now that we have an understanding of the basics, let's look at age-appropriate questions. Reminders are up here in the top corner. It says the trap of adding before multiplying. Let's not get caught in that trap. And do not forget that brackets take priority. So we know that our process is BIDMAS, so brackets, indices, division, multiplication in the order that they arrive, addition and subtraction in the order that they arrive. Let's do the first one together. 3 plus 5 times 2. Now BIDMAS tells us that we have a multiplication here as well as an addition. Now multiplication comes first. So 5 times 2 gives us our 10, and then we just rewrite whatever is left in the equation, and 3 add 10 gives us 13. So that makes our first question. Number 2 tells us that we have brackets, that we have subtraction, division, and addition. So let's start with our brackets. 10 take away 4. Well, that gives us 6. So if we rewrite the rest of the equation, we can now see what we need to do next. So we've done our brackets. Then we go through our division. Division is next. 6 divided by 2, that is 3. We finish writing out our equation. That leaves 3 add 3, which is 6. Our answer here is 6. Take a moment and see if you can answer the last one before I go through it with you. Okay, welcome back. So looking at our equation, we see that we have brackets, we have indices, no division, yes multiplication, and addition. We've got quite a bit here, so let's work through it. First things first, we start with brackets. 3 times 2, that's 6. We finish writing in the rest of our equation. The next thing we're going to work on is indices, or squared. Reminder that indices is a number times by itself a certain amount of times. So in this case, 4 times 4, that gives us 16. We finish writing out our equation. 16 adds 6, that gives us 22. Amazing job. If your child was able to go through these and understand the process, they are well on their way to a successful approach to order of operation. If not, don't worry. Our math tutors would be more than happy to give targeted, specific questions and support for your child. Heading over to our next phase, which is looking at years 7 to 8. Now the top tip for year 7 to 8 is to start by spotting those brackets and exponents. So basically become very aware of the types of questions that they are asking. So first things first, we have division, we have multiplication, and a subtraction. So let's check. Does the division come before the multiplication? Yeah, in this question it does. So 12 divided by 4, that gives us 3. finish writing in our equation. Look at the next one. 3 times 3 before subtraction. Yes, please. 3 times 3 is 6. Finish writing out the equation. Our answer is 5. Amazing job. Next question. We are left with 5 plus 2 in brackets, squared, which makes it an indice. We have a subtraction and a division. So again, quite a bit of work here. Let's start with those brackets. 5 plus 2 is 7. That square now lives with that 7. Finish writing out our equation so we don't forget anything. Now we're going to do our indice. 7 times 7 is 49. So we have 49 minus 10 divided by 2. Now you might be tempted to just do 49, take away 10, but remind yourself we have to do division next. So 10 divided by 2 is 5. Finish writing out the equation. 49 take away 5, that answer is 44. Now also, had we gone here to 49 take away 10, that would have been 39 divided by 2. That would have led you off this rabbit hole of trying to figure out 39 divided by 2 and getting caught with decimals. And that is what typically happens in a test situation. So be very vigilant, be very aware, so that way there you don't go down a little rabbit hole and waste precious time in your exam. Okay, again, let's pause the video, go through question number 3 by yourself, and come back so we can go through it together and see where you are. Welcome back. We have 24 divided by bracket 6 minus 2 plus 3 and an indice. Here we go. So we start 6 minus 2, which is 4. Let's rewrite everything out again so that way there we don't miss anything. Plus 3. Now it's not squared. This time it's 3 cubed. 3 cubed means we have 3 times 3, which is 9. That answer needs to be times by 3. So 9 times 3 is 27. So 3 cubed is 27. So let's write that down in its spot and fill out the rest of the equation so we don't miss anything or mix it up. So there's quite a lot going on here. Next one is 24 divided by 4 and the add 27. Now division comes first. So 24 divided by 4, quick math tells us that's 6. Finish writing out our equation. Plus 27. A little bit of number bonds tells me that I need 3 to get to 30 and an additional 3 to finish off my 6. So that would be 33 as my answer. Amazing. So again, if your child feels super confident with this process and they're moving along swiftly, then they are well on their way to feeling confident through their year 7 and year 8 topic. But don't worry if they need a little bit of extra support, because we'd be more than happy to help there. Heading into the GCSE part, there are some tricky bits. There are some fractions and BIDMAS. There are some square roots in here now, as well as exponents, and hidden brackets in fraction bars. So let's take a peek. We have indices, we have subtraction, multiplication, there's a division, there are brackets, and there's an addition. This one has it all. So let's start slow. Start with our brackets. 8 divided by 4, that's 2. Finish writing the rest of the equation so you do not miss something or make an error in your writing. Now we have our indices. 5 squared says 5 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25. Finish writing out the equation. Don't try and do it at the same time as you're writing it, because you might get messed with our order. So we've done our indices. Now we're over to division. Well, division happened in the bracket, so technically that is now done. We're off to multiplication. Multiplication is here. 3 times 2. 3 times 2 is 6. Write the equation. just like it was before. That way there we don't confuse the order. Then we have addition and subtraction, but reminder, they go in the order in which they have arrived. So in this case, 25 take away 6 is first. That would be 19. And then we're going to add 6, which really they've canceled each other out. So that leaves us with 25. Well done. Moving on to our next one. We have 2 cubed times 3 squared divided by 6 take away 4. We've got brackets, we've got indices, multiplication, division, and subtraction. Let's go through our brackets, which are in fact our indices. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 gives us 8. Now we're multiplying. 3 times 3 is 9. We're going to divide now, but remind those were in brackets, so don't get rid of them. 6 take away 4, this is also a bracket, so that can give us 2. Now we're not quite done yet, we have to do this bracket next. 8 times 9, again a reminder, you can put your fingers down and that can help you. It gives us 72. 72 divided by 2. 70 divided by 2 would give us 35, and then we have split the difference of the 2. So that would give us 36 as our answer. All right, last one, folks. Go ahead, go through the last one, pause the video, and come back when you're ready to check your answer. We have in this question brackets, addition, indices in the form of a square root and a square number, as well as division. So let's zoom into that bracket. The square root of 25. Square root of 25, square root of something, means what number can I multiply by itself to get the answer? So it's the opposite of a square. I know that 5 squared, 5 times 5 is 25, so the square root of 5 is 25. I'm going to add my 3 squared, which is 3 times 3, which is 9. Close that bracket, finish writing out the equation. 5 plus 9 gives us 14. I'm going to finish writing out my equation, which is divide by 2. My answer here is 7. If you got the answer 7, well done you. If not, don't hesitate to get in contact so we can do some targeted work and get you from a grade 3, 4 in your GCSE up a couple of extra points. Something that I want you to remember before we log off for the day: always follow BIDMAS. The left to right is only for the same level operations, which means division and multiplication happens in the order in which they arrive. Addition and subtraction happens in the order in which they arrive. Brackets and indices are first, never skip those. Check your work. Small mistakes are big mark losses. Don't go down rabbit holes if you don't need to. Be sure you are very aware of what you are working through. That is all for me today. Again, if you need any help, please get in touch. Our math tutors would be more than happy to help your child succeed with order of operations because it unlocks so much in maths. Join me next week for Secrets of an English Tutor, and we'll speak soon. Take care.